emerged about a Russian military strike against a hotel in the Ukrainian city of Kharkov, in which 60 French speaking mercenaries have lost their lives and many others have been wounded. Um, what does this indicate? Well, there's two aspects to this. One, that there is no differentiation in the minds of Russian military planners between foreign mercenaries and Ukrainian soldiers. If you're fighting for the Ukrainian side, whatever your nationality is, you're a legitimate target. More interestingly, however, is the possibility that at least some of these French speaking individuals weren't mercenaries, but actually French serving military personnel. That is, military personnel who worked for the French government, who were in Ukraine at the behest of their government. And now they're dead. I think this shows a new mindset for the Russians. In the past, Russia has not shown any hesitancy to eliminate foreign mercenaries fighting on behalf of the Ukrainian military. But there has seemed to be some sort of a leniency towards military advisors or, uh, you know, personnel who belong to NATO countries who are in Ukraine. They haven't been taken out in significant numbers, although with Russian intelligence being what it is, there's every likelihood that the Russians knew they were there and could have taken them out. If these individuals are not just mercenaries, but serving French military professionals, then this shows that Russia has made a decision that everybody in Ukraine now is fair game. And I think what this would also reflect is that Russia is getting to the end of the game. That is, no more wasting time, wasting effort. Russia is closing in on the final solution to the Ukrainian problem, the destruction of the Ukrainian armed forces. This means that everybody is a target. The Ukrainian military, foreign mercenaries, and any NATO military members on Ukrainians.
And to go with that story, we take you to Hal Turner Radio Show. As shock, troops from the French Foreign Legion are killed in Ukraine. So here we go. Just as Scott Ritter was saying, it looks like there were some active duty troops found in this hotel in Kharkov, Ukraine, where Russian army forces hit that hotel with a missile strike weeks ago. A number of military people were killed in that hotel. What no one knew until today was that dozens of those troops were from the French Foreign Legion, and others were active duty troops from France on unpaid leave, in quotation marks. The French ambassador was summoned today to the Russian Foreign Ministry. Now, during that meeting, the ambassador was asked why the troops from the French Foreign Legion and active duty troops from the French army were in Ukraine to fight the Russian army, and why Russia should not simply declare that France is waging war upon Russia. Well, the ambassador did not have a good answer, apparently. Below in the brief video, the French ambassador shown leaving the Russian Foreign Ministry, seemingly quite angry as he was barraged by the media with questions as to why France is sending active duty troops to Ukraine. The ambassador did not answer the media questions. Guys, this is not the first time. Okay? We have seen U.S. troops there, active duty. We have seen German troops there, Polish troops, quite a few. And these aren't just mercenaries. Of course, that's what France is trying to say, but it's not true. Once again, countries of the collective West are shown to be sneaks and liars. Only this time, they've been caught red-handed, and suddenly, the boisterous West has nothing to say. Of course not. This is quite simple. If active duty military troops from a country's government are fighting Russians inside Ukraine, then that country is de facto at war with Russia. There is no wiggle room. No, there isn't. Absolutely is not anymore. The fact that, once again, NATO countries have been caught waging actual war against Russia inside Ukraine is little surprise. There have been countless other examples, like I just said. What is galling is how all this has been attempted on the sly and sneaky. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what our governments in the West are. Sneaks, thugs, hoodlums trying to get over, thinking no one will notice, no one will care. And if anyone does notice or care, they won't dare do anything about it because World War III would erupt, or it would cause World War III to erupt. Apparently, it's never occurred to the dullards in the governments of the West that the day that Russia has finally had enough, what they can do about it is launch hypersonic nuclear missiles and put an end to the governments of the West. Apparently, the nitwits in NATO are deluding themselves into believing Russia wouldn't dare. At some point, Russia may realize they have no other choice. And guys, they don't. And at some point, I'm sure the laid out plans are to let the nukes rip, at least on some cities around the world. Remember, they don't want to destroy them all. So there we are. Looks like, once again, active duty troops, this time from France, another NATO country, have been found fighting inside of Ukraine. This time they were found dead inside of this hotel in Kharkov, Ukraine, after it was hit by a missile strike. Like Scott Ritter said, Russia's taken the gloves off. They are now hitting anything and everything that stands against their army, period. And they have been since the start, but they're really ramping it up now, as they should. They're defending themselves. So, anyway, then we have this story here, switching back over to Iran real quick. This coming from Great Britain. Britain is now at war with Iran. We should act like it. The strikes against the Houthis must form part of a broader strategy for defeating the Iranian threat. World War III alert. Israel, U.S., and the UK have de facto declared war on Iran. So it's not just in Ukraine, guys. This is another theater of war. U.S. Civil Defense news, it's just a matter of time before they strike directly into Tehran and start targeting Iranian nuclear facilities and ballistic missile systems across the country. We're at the doorstep. Indeed, we are. Israel's Netanyahu just said again today that they are going to attack Iran at some point. He says it's to cut off the head of the snake. And who's the real snake? Just saying. So then we have this story put up on don'tspeaknews.com this morning. Iranian-Pakistan tensions occur amid Iran's rise as the new regional power in Western Asia. Yes, they are. And here's the area, the border area that they're both striking each other in, Pakistan, Iran. But there's a couple of terror groups that they're actually focused on and not each other. Not only that, but these terror groups, there's a lot of indications that they're funded by the West. Of course they are. So here we go. Iran and Pakistan have struck each other's territory while targeting a terrorist group that operates on their shared border, thus confusing observers and analysts alike. Are both countries in undeclared war? What do these developments have to do, if anything, with the overall escalation of violence in the Middle East that's been going on since the Hamas operation on October 7th and Israel's campaign in Gaza? Here's a summarized chronology of the latest events in Southeast Asia and some context. And this is a very good article in that context. I'm going to kind of skip through it a little bit, you guys. You can read the whole thing on your own, and I recommend that you do. I'll put the link up, as always. Now, the Iranian-Pakistani border region, known as Balochistan, is home to the Baluchi Islamic nationalist insurgency against both Iran and Pakistan. The Baluch Sunni movement, Jaish ul Adal, is known to cooperate with Kurdish separatist groups in Iran. It also denounces the Iranian presence in the Syrian conflict. Iranian authorities in Tehran accuse the Sunni Saudi Arabia and the U.S. of being the main funders of Jaish ul Adal. For years, Sunni extremist groups of a Wahhabi Salafist persuasion have launched attacks against civilians in both Iran, a Shia Islamic nation, and Pakistan. The latter is a predominantly Sunni country and an Islamic republic that has been troubled by ethnic and religious divisions and has been the target of jihadist militant groups, including ethnic Baluchi separatists. Now, in December 2023, the Baluchi group, Jaish al-Adal, they group bombed a police station in Rask, Iran, a town close to the border with Pakistan. On January 4th, a crowd gathered in the Iranian city of Kerman to commemorate the 4th anniversary of the murder by U.S. drone strike of Iranian Revolutionary Guard General Qasem Soleimani. 2 bombs exploded near the general's burial site, taking the life of 84 people and injuring at least 284. It was the deadliest terrorist attack against Iranians since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The attack was claimed by the so-called Islamic State, Daesh terrorist group, also known as ISIS. In retaliation, on January 15th, Tehran fired ballistic missiles at what it claimed to be Islamic State terrorist targets in Syria and in Kurdish-controlled northern Iraq. The next day, on January 16th, Iran launched attacks against the alleged militant group Jaish al-Adal's bases in neighboring Pakistan, a nuclear state, by the way, thereby triggering heated protests from the Pakistani authorities in Islamabad. India, Pakistan's main rival, defended the Iranian measure in a statement, describing it as an act of self-defense. Then, 2 days later, on January 18th, Pakistan's airstrikes in Iran's Baluchistan province, also targeting alleged Baluchi combatants, killed several people. So now, let's move from the Baluchistan to the Levant. Tehran for years has been describing the Daesh terrorist group either as the creation of the U.S.-led West or as an American proxy group. Of course they are, them and Israel. It's widely known that the U.S. and its allies have helped arm and funded Syrian rebels in its effort to overthrow the Syrian government and empowered ISIS terrorism. The same formula applies to Libya, by the way. So, anyway, kind of skip around here and kind of shorten this up a little bit because this is quite lengthy, but it does go into great detail. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. A lot of things have changed in the Middle East, and a lot of them made Tehran stronger. A Saudi-Iranian rapprochement has been under discussion and has now been made much easier by Israel's widely condemned military campaign in Gaza. Moreover, the failed U.S. neocolonial policies in Iraq have only increased Iran's importance in the Levant. However, as we can see, Iranian soft and hard power in West Asia today goes way beyond its oil diplomacy in the Levant, extending extracontinentally as far as Venezuela, while American naval hegemony declines. In fact, Simon Tisdale, a Guardian U.S. editor, goes as far as to convincingly argue that the biggest power in the Middle East is no longer Washington, but actually Tehran. And I would agree. We can see it shifting. You can feel it shifting. As the Houthis are still continuing to target U.S. and, Britain and Israeli shipping in the Red Sea. Another cargo ship was struck and disabled today by the Houthis. And the U.S. and Britain continue to strike them as well, with very little success, by the way. I mean, I think Saudi Arabia fought against them since 2013 with U.S. assistance and didn't gain an inch of ground. Not one. They had a bunch of mercenaries fighting for them, and nothing worked. The Houthis held them off and beat them back and attacked their oil fields with ballistic missiles. So the Houthis are not going to be a walk in the park, not whatsoever at all. So this is going to continue, and it will continue to escalate as I just showed you. Because like I said, even Great Britain is now, their press is saying that Britain is now at war with Iran, and they should act like it. Because they say the strikes from the Houthis form part of a broader strategy for defeating the Iranian threat. So here we go. The de facto war has already been declared. It just hasn't been declared officially yet. I don't think it will be until all the missiles really start flying. I don't think we're far away from that, guys. So prayed up and prepped up at all times. And that'll be it for now. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com, where I'm at right now, is home base for everything that we do. But a lot of stuff up here, over 1,800, almost 2,000 stories up here now at don'tspeaknews.com. Been around since 2018, the website that is. So if you want to see where we're located, we're on BitChute, Rumble, and now back on YouTube as well. I haven't done a lot with the channel yet, but I will be in the near future. I'll be putting some stuff up today. That would be a blast from the past. Hopefully it won't get taken down, but anyway, we'll be doing that later. So here's a new YouTube channel link. We're also on Telegram, BitChute, Rumble, and a couple other Telegram channels, including Don't Speak History and Don't Speak Health News. And then we're also on Substack. Those are all the places you can find us. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel to get updated every time there's a new video or a blog post, type in your email address here, click subscribe, and there you go. And of course, we do need your support because we are listener funded only. As you can see, there's no ads here. I don't have any sponsors. It's just you guys. And that's the way I prefer it because I don't want to be controlled by sponsors. So there's a monthly support option here if you'd like to do that. And then there's all the different links to support us just one time as well, including Cash App if you want to use that. So there we go. Different ways to support us here at don'tspeaknews.com. And that's it for now. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.